to this presentation on Advaita Vedanta. Advaita Vedanta is an important topic which is being dealt in the Indian philosophy. In programs of study in various universities, Indian philosophy is usually taught as a compulsory subject. Here in IGNOU, we have both undergraduate and postgraduate program. Therefore, in our undergraduate program, there is a BA in philosophy. Indian philosophy along with other courses are being taught as electives in order to enable any student of the BA program to opt for a particular elective or a subject. Whereas in the MA philosophy program, Indian philosophy is treated as a compulsory paper and not as an elective. Now, coming back to the topic of Advaita Vedanta, it's a very important topic of discussion in Indian philosophy, and in the studio we have two experts who have done much work in that field by way of writing as well as by teaching. I am pleased to introduce Dr. R.K. Behera from Dimapur. He has got more than 25 years of teaching experience in Advaita Vedanta and particularly Indian philosophy. We also have G.K. Parimala from Bangalore. She is also a person very much interested in the topic of philosophy, particularly Indian philosophy. She has been an expert to the Indira Gandhi National Open University in its both BA and MA programs, and she has also contributed some of the lessons for our students. Now, to begin with the discussion on Advaita Vedanta, I would request Dr. Behera to kindly tell us about the meaning of Advaita Vedanta.
Advaita Vedanta, it is one of the very important school of Indian philosophy. And when we look at Advaita Vedanta philosophy, it belongs to orthodox school of Indian philosophy developed by Shankara, and that is how we are studying today the Advaita Vedanta philosophy. Now, when we go to the meaning of the word Advaita, this Advaita in the dictionary meaning is non-dualism. Non-dualism in relation to identifying Brahman with the universe, the matter, the soul and the spirit. Even we can say the meaning Advaita means peerless, unique. Now, when we go to Vedanta, the meaning of the word Vedanta, Vedanta means the end of the Vedas. Now, here the end of the Vedas, literally the end, the word, it clearly tells that Upanishad is the end of the Vedas.
That's quite interesting. And now I turn to Dr. Parimala. We have the concept of the world. So according to Advaita Vedanta, what is the concept of the world?
The Advaita Vedanta says that the world is unreal. It is Maya. Shankara talks about the world, why it is called as unreal. Whatever is eternal is truth. World is not truth. And truth is unchanging. But the world changes and it is ever changing, so it is not true. This world is like that, like a dream, so it is not true. And he also says that, he further says, what is eternal in time and space is truth. World is not like that, so it is not true. And this is justifying all these statements. He says world is Maya. Then he explains what is Maya. Shankara says world as an illusion and over not looking at it as Brahman. And he says the whole world is a superimposition on Brahman. So Brahman is not seen as a thing as it is, pure and real. To see the reality of Brahman and see the world whether it is true or not, we must overcome that one. And he further says, when he is talking about this world, it is, he says, even though because of Maya we don't know the reality of the world, which is an illusion, and but further he emphasizes Brahman is not affected by this illusionary thing, because it is just like a magician who is not affected by his own tricks.
Professor Bohra, can you talk about the main features of Advaita Vedanta?
The main feature is to understand Brahman. To understand Brahman, one should attain knowledge, and to attain knowledge, he should overcome ignorance, and to overcome ignorance, he should be vigilant in his conscious level. That is the main features of Advaita Vedanta philosophy. In Advaita Vedanta philosophy, there are three stages of truth. The first stage is called transcendental, the second stage is called pragmatic, and the third stage is called apparent. Why we call transcendental the first stage of truth? Because here it is called transcendental because Brahman is the only reality. And why we call it is pragmatic? Because the Jiva and God both are real. And the last stage of truth, which we call apparent, it is apparent because the material world is it is false. It is just like rope as a snake.
I have a question to you, ma'am. Can you talk about the concept of Atman in Advaita Vedanta?
The whole of Advaita Vedanta talk about Brahman. What is Brahman? It says everything is Brahman. Even our self is Brahman. Then it is questioned how Atman and Brahman are equal. But Upanishads, which is the end of Vedas, they talk about Brahman as Atman. They equivalent Brahman equal to Atman. They say each Atman in each body, individual body, and the outside universal Atman, Brahman are one and the same. And how it is that why we take it, why we don't understand it is because we see so many individuals but only one Brahman. So it is said, Shankara gives an example of a reflection of moon. On the water, the moon, one single moon, is seen as multiple moons on a bubbles. So it is just like that. Each Atman in an individual is one and the only Brahman there, and there is no difference between Atman and Brahman. And saying this one, he further says how to understand this Atman equal to Brahman. He says we need knowledge, vidya. Knowledge, how do we get this knowledge? we have to overcome avidya, the superimposition, and once one realizes there is nothing but Brahman alone, individual Atman is nothing but Brahman only. So finally Shankara says Atman is Brahman itself. Everything is the one and the same.
So given that kind of a concept, would you like to add on to the actual meaning of the concept of Brahman?
The word Brahman refers to the supreme reality. Here the Brahman, according to Advaita Vedanta, Brahman Satya Jagat Mithya. It means we find that only Brahman is true and the world is not true at all. This statement clearly tells that how Brahman is so supreme. Brahman is neti neti. The literal meaning of the word neti neti means not this, not this. Brahman is indescribable. We cannot describe in our pragmatic language. In Upanishads we found that the description of two kinds of Brahman. One is called Nirguna Brahman and the other one is called Saguna Brahman. In other words, we can call it as Para Brahman or Apara Brahman. Nirguna Brahman means the Brahman which has existence, which has consciousness and which has bliss. But the Saguna Brahman means which is determinate and which is qualified with attributes. But in the context of Vedanta philosophy, from transcendental point of view, they support the Nirguna Brahman. The concept of Brahman, it is also called Sachidananda. Sat means infinite truth and Chit means infinite consciousness and Ananda means infinite bliss.
Dr. Behera, what are the means of knowledge accepted in Advaita Vedanta?
The 6 ways are Pratyaksha, Anumana, Upamana, Sabda, Arthapati and Anupalabdhi. Among all these 6, the most important is Sabda or testimony.
Well, Dr. Perimula, Dr. Behera spoke about true knowledge. Now, how can you attain liberation through knowledge, and also explain the concept of mukti in Advaita Vedanta?
Advaita philosophy says liberation does not mean going to some place, attaining something physically. Liberation also is not going thinking of going to heaven after death. Have the complete and complete knowledge of Brahman within self and outside. See the reality of Brahman out and in and being one with the world. That is the true liberation according to Advaita philosophy.
Regarding the liberation, I want to add this sentence. A person can get liberation when his soul is identified with Brahman. So we should see that whether our soul is identified with Brahman or not, and if it is identified, definitely we will also get liberation. I am just supplementing her answer.